I'm joined by Edge MHK, and we're talking public service media. In fact, because I've looked for Tynwald coming up this week, you've got actually two questions down about the media. Mm-hmm. One, TT, which is very interesting because it's finally going out to tender, and it seems to be for years that we've been talking about this, or there's been talk about it. It hasn't happened, and you're asking some questions about that. So let's deal with that part of it first of all.
Yeah, it's obviously it's been promised, like you say, for years, and during the Manx Radio debate on the strategy and the way forward for Manx Radio, it came up again, and it said it would go out to tender. So I thought, well, I haven't seen anything, haven't heard any more. We need to make sure it does go out to tender. So I did put the question in, and as you know, our deadlines for questions is a Monday.
I was going to say, bizarrely, as you're doing that, then you got...
It got announced.
It got announced?
Yeah.
Do you think you caused that then to happen?
I'm not saying I caused it, but at least it's proof that something has had to happen. So I think,
I mean, Manx Radio seems to be their natural home, surely. Isn't it the right place? I mean, is it not a dumb decision almost, I suppose? I mean, can anyone else go for it?
Well, looking at the expressions of interest document, clearly there's quite a tight deadline on it, to be honest, and it's asking for people that have got certain criterias and whether they've got
a radio station on the Isle of Man,
and whether there are frequencies and that.
So it could be 3FM Wednesday, I suppose.
So it could be, and I enjoyed Radio TT. I tune into it myself, but if people are standing up in Tynwald and they're saying it's going to be a fair, transparent process, that's where it has to be.
Okay, but of course when the debate was on about bolting on money for Manx Radio to cover the racing, that wasn't approved, was it? No,
it wasn't, and I think Mr Collister, member responsible, said that he thought that Manx Radio had missed a trick by not putting it into their documentation, which I was a bit taken aback by that, to be honest, because Tynwald's not there to be tricked into funding, yes, perhaps they should have thought a bit more broader on the strategy they presented. I didn't actually support their additional income of £95,000. I put an amendment through to say that I supported putting the strategy through, but with no additional funding. So unfortunately that went through. I did get some support with my amendment.
That brings on to the second question, because you're now, it's a written one admittedly, but you're asking for a breakdown on what else happens with public service media money, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. There were, during the debate there was a lot of concern, how much money is going to Manx Radio for this, and they do provide a good service to the island. But I thought, actually, what other income are they getting outside of the subvention that they're getting? So,
they get money for running home office stuff. I don't know.
There's all sorts of different income streams that I think perhaps should be included. So when people know what it's costing to actually operate Manx Radio, it's the full amount.
Have you got a vendetta about Manx Radio?
No, but I'm just very transparent. I'm obviously very focused on finances, and we're making cuts everywhere else. And I just thought it was a little bit bizarre, really, that we're subventing Manx Radio and they're asking for extra money and the reasons they're asking for it. And I just thought, hang on, we've got all these other government departments and struggles going on in health and with our frontline services, and yet Manx Radio come along, asked for extra money, and it's voted on, and they got it. Although I didn't actually vote for
okay,
that.
What about the Kelly Sharp thing? Do you get what I mean? That was when they, about public service media getting together, new places in town, a more central area, I don't know, all sorts of things, bringing other people into it maybe.
Interesting concept.
She's laying it again though, isn't it? I don't follow what's going on here. You debated it was thrown out, but she's now laying it.
It seems it's had to be laid so that the actual report's on the statute, I believe.
Oh,
so,
okay.
yes, because I wondered, what's this again? Are we debating it again? But no, I don't think it's up for debate. It's just purely that the document's on the statute.
So what would you like to see the TT to finish with here? I mean, is it a Manx Radio thing? Is it an Energy 3FM? I mean, it's got to be somebody.
I just think the coverage that we get for the TT, it's everybody knows about the TT no matter where you go in the world. And obviously it's on the AM frequency and people have the little headsets, so we've got to consider everything really, that if there was a change, these people that have bought these little radios and that, can they still use them? But I just think it's such a fantastic event. Look at the coverage we get on ITV4 and, through Greenlight Television and that. We need to be making sure we're doing it for the best and that the cost of it doesn't spiral out of control, because they did get funding last year that was increased significantly. I think it was probably by about 50%. And that was because they'd had
the coverage of the TT.
For the coverage of the TT, and they'd had advertising taken away from them. I think we need to be looking at this a bit more holistically, really, and what do we really want from all of these activities? Should the Department for Enterprise be getting involved in advertising? I don't know. So I think it's just something I want to know the answers for, and people do phone you up and query these, and you think, well, I'll have to put a question down for them, because constituents want answers, and they want to know that our money is getting spent in the best way.
And is it expression of interest at this stage only?
It's expressions of interest.
I mean, it's a tight time scale, isn't it?
29th of November. So
it's not going to happen, is it? Come on, it's not going to happen.
Well, I don't know. I just hope that
it's
a fair process, I think, is what needs to be, that it is a fair process. It is a quick, tight turnaround, and it also comments about licences, that you've got to be able to assure you can get the licences in place. Well, who's in charge of the licences?
That is very interesting, because 1368, of course, is Manx Radio, but they do give it away to Radio Caroline once a month. So the potential is, I suppose, that other people could rent it or whatever. But it seems like a natural fit. I think everyone thinks that, surely, that Manx Radio is the place for the TT.
Well, you need to make sure that, and I'm glad they've started the process now, because I think last year, again, it was left to such a late, the decisions were made too late. You probably couldn't have done anything different, but at least they've started the process this year, and hopefully something will be in place. And, it's whoever's down to tender and whoever puts in the best price, I would hope.